I wish it wasn't clickbait. Pixelborn, unfortunately, is coming to an end on June 16th, which is coming right up. For content creators such as myself, this is very difficult. I'm not entirely sure what will happen with the channel, but let's just dive into some of my thoughts on it real quick. We all knew Pixelborn was going to eventually come to an end. That is just the nature of Disney and intellectual property. So it's no surprise that Pixelborn would come to an end, but I was hoping it would be under better circumstances. Ideally, when it finally came to an end, and again, when was always a certainty, we just didn't know exactly when would be. I had imagined that Ravensburger or Disney or whoever's in charge of it would have had something in place. Now, of course, at the time I'm recording this, today's the day we found out. So it's completely possible that by the time this video goes live, which is going to be the next day, so if you're watching this video when it first came out, we got the news yesterday. It's totally possible that the Lorcana team does have some kind of plan for another client. I have read, I've seen speculation that Ravensburger has had job listings that sort of correlate with what you might expect to see for people to build another client. So it's entirely possible that another client is on the way. If that's the case, that's exactly what we want. However, they squashed Pixelborn before we got any news about a future client. So right now, as of me recording this, we're in this strange limbo of I have 2 more weeks, 2.5 weeks tops to make content, and no light at the end of the tunnel. Pixelborn is a pillar of the Lorcana game, just in general. There are many people, myself included, that don't have local game stores that do Lorcana. Personally, we just had a local game store open up a few months ago, and there's been talks about doing a Lorcana night, which would be fantastic. However, that shop has 1 table and it's tiny. That's not very conducive to a community for this. What Pixelborn brought me was a place to find that community, a place to actually play this game. Without it, I don't think I can play this game. I don't intend on quitting the game, but it does rather feel like I'm being pushed out of the game. I have some ideas potentially as to what I could do for content, all of which are a lot more labor intensive and time consuming. And as somebody that started this channel with daily uploads, at times it's been shaky. It's been hard to do daily every single day, and I have missed days. The last month or so has been more apparent than others, with prepping for Atlanta and paying for stuff and getting things ready. I have a wife and kid, so there were other things that I needed to do with my time, especially this month, as opposed to daily uploads. However, if I move into doing a different style of content for this channel outside of the normal gameplay, that's going to get a lot more difficult. In fact, I think it would be close to impossible to continue daily uploads, which is really not where I want to be. Pixelborn, like I said, is a pillar of this community. When the game first came out and there were issues with getting product into the hands of the people who wanted to play, Pixelborn was the place to go to. You could play, have access to all of the cards for free, and get to experiment with things, try new decks, play with people from all over the world. It was incredibly healthy to the competitive community as well. There's nothing like being able to put a deck together and test it straight away. Something that I got to do almost every day that this game has been out. And now it's going to be a lot more difficult. For those of you who have friends who you can play with, that's fantastic. For me, I know there are people in my hometown here that do play, but I don't know any of them because there hasn't been a place for us to get together and meet each other and to play the game together. So I literally have nobody in my contacts list locally that I could play with. I know there's a community because we do have a card shop, not a game store, but a card shop that I have been able to find singles for, which means people have been cracking packs and selling them back to the shop for store credit or what have you. And so I know there's people here opening packs. I just don't know who they are. And I got to imagine that my situation is not uncommon for a great many people out there, especially for those living in countries where the game isn't fully released. Pavel did this community a really solid favor by making a client that we could all play on, making it free, and giving everyone access to it who wanted it, who needed it. I don't think there's a world where we'll ever forget about Pavel. I think if this game makes it 20, 30, 40 years, there will still be people who will say, I remember Pixelborn. I remember what Pavel did for us. And I know that I'm going to be one of those people. I'm just sad that it has come now with no plan in place to replace it. I know a lot of us content creators are kind of scrambling. What are we going to do? How are we going to adapt and overcome this? I've reached out to a couple of other Lorcana creators, and some of them are thinking, you know, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not doing YouTube videos anymore, which is totally understandable, right? How can you share this game that you love if you don't have the tools to show it? I think if, and I could be wrong, it's mostly just an opinion, but I think if Lorcana, when it first came out, if Pixelborn wasn't there, I think Lorcana would have really struggled. I think with a backer like Disney, they would still be here, but I think they'd be in a much, much worse position than they currently are. I just got back from Atlanta from the first challenge event, and it was absolutely amazing. The community there, so positive, so loving. It was the best TCG experience I've ever had. And I think they were smart to not announce something about trying to push out Pixelborn, because I think a lot of people would have walked out of the tournament. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to quit. I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm going to do whatever I can. The content's probably going to get a little weird from here as we try to find the new norm of what we're doing. But I think this is poor timing. I think Ravensburger, Disney, whomever, I think they know this, and I think they have a plan. And I'm hoping that we will get some insight as to what that plan is soon. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, we already have some kind of announcement. Fingers crossed. As you can see, I'm not super confident about that, but I remain hopeful, especially with the turnout we just had for the Atlanta and the Lily, I don't know how to say it, the European challenge events. I know that it showed how much this community loves this game and is here for this game. I am afraid that without Pixelborn, a decent size, a huge size of the community won't have access to it. And for many people, Lorcana will just fall by the wayside. I can only see this as being a detriment right now. But I remain hopeful. I believe Ravensburger loves this game as much as we do, right? They're working on creating it. I know they have this wild contract to have so many sets come out. What was it, 10 sets that they were contracted for? We're not even halfway through yet, that initial contract. So I read somewhere that they even have a 10-year plan. I don't know if that's true, but I did read it, and if that's the case, then they don't want this community to fall apart either. So my thought is they must have something up their sleeve, and hopefully we'll find out what that is soon. And hopefully it's an online client, because anything short of that I think will still be problematic for all of us who otherwise can't play this game. I know for me, it was me and my wife. When the set first came out, the first chapter, we bought the 3 starter decks. We each picked one to start with, cracked it open, and we learned to play the game together that first night. Since then, my wife, as many of you know, is pregnant and has a full-time job, and we have a 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old running around, and a lot of day-to-day responsibilities. So as a result, my wife doesn't play the game anymore. Not because she doesn't want to, but I think it's just largely there's just no time for it. And for myself, my wife was my only paper opponent. So I lost even my significant other as an option of playing paper Lorcana with. Pixelborn kept me in the game. It kept me up to date. I learned new strategies. I learned competitive decks. I put together a bunch of janky decks. We tried a bunch of crazy things out. The freedom to be able to just load up the client, throw a deck together, and jump in and see how it performs wasn't possible without Pixelborn. So what are the next steps for me? What are we going to do with this channel? I'm going to do my best, but I have a full-time job, but I'm going to attempt to do double duty until the client is down, and at the very least, make my normal daily video, and then make a video that I don't necessarily edit same day, and try to do 2 videos worth of content every day. Double down. Try to maximize my amount of content that I can here. Outside of that, what could I possibly do? I foresee that there's going to be paper content here. I just don't know how it's going to work. Whether I'm streaming via Discord with an opponent with a camera jankily hanging from the ceiling to record games and play that way. That presents other issues. I don't have all 4 copies of every card from set 4. That's rather expensive. So being able to jump into making new decks will be difficult at the very least. What else could I do? I could set up a table behind me and do something similar to the Command Zone, where I have people over and record games in person and then edit those together. Has different issues, as we've talked about. I don't know anybody locally that plays. I know they're here, I just don't know them. I don't know where to find them. We don't have like a local Facebook group to get together. And like I said, there's that one shop with the one table that has thought about doing it. And as far as I know, they haven't started doing it. Maybe there. Deck reviews. Maybe I can still just build the decks and then talk about them. But then my hour-long videos, my 45-minute videos are going to become 10-minute videos, 5-minute videos. I know a lot of you put me on in the background to listen to me while you're working, while you're doing the dishes, while you're cooking. You've made me a part of your daily life, which I am incredibly humbled by and completely baffled that that has happened at all, but it's super cool and I really do appreciate it. But I want to be there for your hour while you're doing whatever it is you're doing. I don't want it to be 5 minutes. It's going to be an interesting time. I'm hoping that this video ages poorly and Pixelborn is replaced by something that we can all grow to love, whatever it may be. It will be Disney, So no matter what it is, no matter how it turns out, it will be pay to play in some sense. I'm hoping if that's the case, it's either like the Pokemon client or it's like the Magic Arena client, which I know a lot of people don't like the Magic Arena client. But at least with the Magic Arena client, there is a way to play it without putting money into it. You start with cards and you earn in-game currency by doing daily quests, gives you little challenges to do every day, and you earn in-game currency, and you can either buy everything you need day one with actual money, or you can play for a month and do your daily grind, get your in-game currency, and get your collection that way. I've done that on Arena, so I know it's possible to play on Arena without spending money. My thought is, my fear is, my suspicion is that if they put together an online client, it will be very similar to Arena in that sense. I know Disney likes to make money. That's unavoidable. It's a corporation. It's a business. They need to make money. I understand that. Then there's the Pokemon route where you open up packs and there's a QR code with a unique QR code in every single pack, and you scan it and it gives you a pack in the games. That way that's still pay to play, except it's two birds with one stone, which is fairly nice, right? I don't have to pay for something on an Arena client and buy all my paper cards. Instead, I just buy my paper cards, and incidentally, that also paid for cards on the client. I could see that being really good, though I do have my issues with the Pokemon one. For those of us who either like to have our collections complete as soon as possible, or for us content creators who like to have access to all the cards so we can try everything and bring you the fresh content every day. As far as I know, there's not a real way to buy your collection through the Pokemon client. I could be wrong. I know they had a big update a couple months ago? I haven't played Pokemon in ages, so maybe that's changed. But just from what I remember, I am hoping that we do get a replacement. Hoping we'll get news for it soon. I don't know what the future of this channel is going to look like. I do know that I'm going to try everything I can to bring you guys content. Ideally, I would love to avoid jumping into another third-party client that's just whipped together as a cheap replacement to Pixelborn. But that's where we may end up going if we don't get a suitable replacement from Ravensburger or Disney or, again, whomever. Those are my thoughts. I just don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna figure it out. I'm not going anywhere. The daily content might go away and become weekly content. Hopefully it doesn't get worse than that. I already don't want it to go to weekly content. I like my daily uploads, or at least my 5 days a week. That's really nice. It's fun for me. It keeps me engaged in the game. As for raffles, I will still be completing the raffles. We're going to be giving away these 2 booster boxes right here. That's going to happen June 9th. We're going to do a live stream, give those guys away. It'll be a short live stream because it's my dad's birthday party that day, and I got to do travel. It's like an hour-and-a-half drive to get to him. So we're going to do a brief live stream, give those guys away, along with the Enchanted Sharecon and the Enchanted Beast Relentless. I still will be giving away the Enchanted Elsa PSA 10, sitting right there. There you are. That little cutie right there. That's still going to go. Still going to be the end of July, which will be after the Pixelborn client is gone, but it will still be happening. So there may even be 5-minute videos where I'm just like, hey guys, this is still a thing. Here's all the information. And so it's going to be like a duplicate video 2, 3, 4 times. I don't know. I hope not. I don't like repeat content. You guys know I don't even like doing the same deck multiple times, unless it's an updated version, of course. So there's still stuff coming out. The raffles that have already begun, I will see them through to their conclusions. I may delay the raffle for June. Normally I do 2 booster boxes and 2 enchanted cards. That's kind of been I've landed on that. I like that. It's consistent. You guys seem to like it. I may delay the June one. I may just cancel the June one altogether, but don't go away. Don't cancel your Patreon membership, because those of you who are not a Patreon member, when we do the Elsa drawing, I cannot legally include you So you still need to be a member. If you feel like you do want to cancel your Patreon membership, downgrade to the $1 tier until Elsa is concluded. You do have to be a member to qualify for a membership raffle, legally speaking. Keep that in mind. I will understand if you do want to cancel your Patreon membership if I'm unable to continue making content. But my promise to you here and now is there's gonna be content. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be an experiment. Some of you guys may not like it, and that is fine. We will find a place that is best for all of us, a type of content that we all enjoy, something that I enjoy making and you guys enjoy watching. But we are definitely moving into an experimental future. I am going to miss Pixelborn. That is where I learned to play the game. That is where many of you learned to play the game watching me. It's like a childhood home in this world of Lorcana, and I am sad to see it go. But we will persevere, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I will be continuing the gameplay videos, hopefully a couple of weeks beyond the closure of the site itself, as I attempt to do multiple videos every day in preparation for when it goes down. So don't go anywhere. There is more content. There was a video this morning. If you missed it, go check it out. But I will see you guys tomorrow.